for the first time, I seen my mom like offer the guy, hey, why don't you come eat with us? Come have a slice of pizza with us. And the guy was so grateful. And, we had pizza, we talked and stuff like that. She was explaining my situation to him, and we dropped him off back. And I was like, hey, why'd you do that? You never did that before. And she says, because that guy was you.
What up? Welcome to another episode of the Second Win Podcast. I am the great one here with Jay Mills, and today we have an episode and a guest that I am very excited about. The iconic, legendary, Barstool legend, Jersey legend, Jersey Jerry. It was always Jersey Jerry. Thank you for coming on the show, my brother.
Dude, I gotta say, the operation here is, a couple episodes in, is great.
Appreciate it.
It really is. It's really special to be here.
I feel like this interaction was long overdue. Like, I see your content all the time, and you're really good friends with like my right-hand man, Cuz, and you're really good friends with like our brother, Danny Hustle Hard. And I'm seeing you all over social media. I'm like, this guy is hilarious. I send your clips to Cuz all the time. I'm like, bro, I gotta meet this guy. I'm glad. I'm glad our first interaction is on the Second Win.
Oh yeah, dude. And Danny drove me to the city this morning.
How fast you get there?
I got there fast.
200 miles an hour.
Yeah, he is great. And the thing is with him, he's just too reckless. So sometimes like I really want to ride to the city and I'll say, you know what? I have a bad feeling about today with Danny. I'm going to take the train. He throws water bottles. He just is a menace, bro.
He's liable to drive on the sidewalk if you're late.
100%.
Yeah. Thorough dude, though. Great guy.
Well, Jerry, man, first off, just tell the people about what do you do at Barstool and how you got into doing that.
Yeah. So basically for me, I'm just a content creator for Barstool. How I got into it was, I guess it was about 2015. I just said, you know what? I'm just going to start making funny videos. And because all my friends growing up always thought I was a funny kid. Then I had some, tough times, and I got away from being the funny guy. And then my life kind of changed around, and I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to start making videos. I want to make people laugh. And, it's pretty much how it happened. I just started putting out some content, some funny clips of my mom and little stuff like that, going to horse races and betting on horse races and making great videos. And then, yeah, dude, it just turned into, Dave offered me a job at Barstool, and I just kind of kept doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So was being in Barstool part of the plan, or was it just like you were doing your thing and it just kind of just fell into place?
It was never part of being in the plan, Barstool. I didn't really know much about Barstool. I knew who Dave Portnoy was, but I had a Steelers video that kind of went viral. Well, it did go viral, and it got millions and millions of views. And then Dave actually reached out to me and his team and invited me to go meet them for an event. And that was my first interaction with Dave ever.
That's dope.
So I kind of got more into Barstool in about 2000 and I'd say 17, 18. And then it just, I kept on doing videos, and it just somehow, some way, I found myself back in the mix.
Yeah, fire. People love you, bro. You're like, it's so genuine. The energy is ridiculous, and it's so authentic. It's like the video, I forget what you were doing, but
what's the one with his mom?
That's the one.
Walmart.
That video had me on the ground rolling, bro.
Yeah, dude,
that
crazy.
Shit was hilarious.
Get the fuck out!
Fuck yourself! You want to go to Walmart?
Why the fuck would I want to go to Walmart?
I'm going to Walmart with the truck! Fuck you!
She's crazy, bro. The thing is, my mom is such an awesome person. She's great cook. She's crazy though, bro. Like, she'll turn on you in a second.
Right.
Like, I still live at home with my mom.
Yeah.
I'm in the basement apartment downstairs, and like I'll get a text, if I'm not home at like 5:30, hey, where you at? Like, okay, like, mom, I'm 27. You know what I mean? Like, chill out, bro. She's like, oh, why isn't your bed made? She's crazy, bro. She's nuts.
Yeah. The first content that I saw of you was the whole Justin Fields thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you seem like, meeting you seem like the most humble, like respectful guy ever. How did that, like, beef, I guess you could call it, even start?
So listen, I went to an event. It was like an autograph event for like players were there and whatnot. And I got to get some autographs. Justin Herbert, Nick Bosa, great guys. A couple former Steelers. Rod Woodson was there, and Justin Fields was walking, and I was with somebody, and they said, "Jerry, you should get a picture with Justin Fields." And I'm like, "Yeah, you think so?" I wasn't ever like a big fan of his, but he's like, "No, it'd be great. Post it on Twitter or whatever. Shows that you met Justin Fields." I'm like, "All right, cool, no problem." I asked him for a picture, and I got like the dirtiest look ever. Like, sure, I guess. And I'm like, man, this was a bad idea. I should have never asked for a picture. So we took the picture, and it was like a funny picture because we both looked so pissed off. So I said to myself, you know what? Fuck this motherfucker. I said, I'm getting in my car, and I'm going to make a video, and I'm just going to bash him. Right. Because like this whole event is for like meeting people, signing autographs, taking pictures. Like that's what his job was to do that day. Yeah. And listen, I understand people have bad days. I get that. But you know what I do when I have a bad day and I don't want to take a picture with fans that I see walking in New York City? I say, sure, no problem. And I put on a fake smile. Right.
So do you think your relationship with Justin could ever be mended?
I'm sure he's seen the video. He didn't block me, which is cool. Right. But I put the curse to rest. I put the curse to rest about 3 weeks ago, and it shows Justin's performance once I put the curse to rest is going up.
The Jersey Jerry curse.
Yeah, I put it to rest because you know what? The Pittsburgh Steelers are having a really bad year. And Justin Fields was having a bad year in the beginning of the season. And I said, you know what? I can make this right. And I said, I'm going to put a curse. I'm going to end the curse. And I ended it. And look, guy's balling. Yeah. I mean, he's rushing. He's doing
everything. The power of Jersey Jerry.
Yeah. I mean, Steelers got to, I'm still might be cursed though. Fuck. Steelers.
This podcast is called The Second Wind, right? And your second wind is so inspiring. I watched that first episode, A Friend of Jerry. And even before meeting you, I always said to Cuz, like, this guy is so genuine. He's so real. He's so pure. He's so authentic. Like, he says what is on his mind. He doesn't care who judges him for what, right? And you kind of epitomize like the type of person that we want on this show. Like, they went through a lot of stuff and they turned it all around. You talked about being addicted to crack, heroin, doing both at the same time, going to 13 different rehabs, smacking a heroin dealer with a baseball bat. That's like those guys who sell heroin, they have something to protect it usually, right? So you're gambling with your life at that point. Can you just take us through like that whole everything?
Yeah, it's like, it started out in high school, just like prescription pills, you know what I mean? Just, getting introduced to different things like that, smoking weed. And, I did that and I never really cared for it much. And then, a year went by and I started to find myself like taking it every day and like, stealing it from my medicine cabinet at home that was for my grandmother. And then once that ran out, I would just be like, oh shit, now I'm feeling like kind of sick. I really want this pill that made me feel better. And then, started to get it off the street. And, I never really knew I had a problem until probably my second or third time around in rehab. But, in rehab, I went there. I was the youngest kid there. I was 18 years old. And it was called Integrity House in Newark, which is a couple blocks down the road from where we're at now. And I went there. I was the youngest kid there. And people were there from like prison, stipulated there, drug court and whatnot. And, I seen all these people and, I wasn't there and I didn't have really a good mindset being there. I just wanted to like get out. Yeah. And somebody told me like, oh, like, have you ever tried crack or heroin? I'm like, nah, I would never do that. Well, bullshit, because when I got out, I went to the spot that I got the pills and I'm like, hey, you guys have heroin? And the guy said, yeah, and I copped it. And dude, I'm telling you, from then on, 19 to 21, I went on a sick run. It was, I ended up, 13 different treatment centers, homeless on the street, picking up cigarette butts off the ground, begging people for money on the side of a Dunkin' Donuts dumpster, wouldn't shower. And the thing is, I always was able to go home because my mom always gave me a safe place to go home to, but I was so embarrassed that I let down my mom, I let down my sister. And, you know, I just didn't want to face it when I got home because they all knew what I was doing. And, you know, it got to the point where my mom had to lock her bedroom door and stuff like that. I was stealing my sister's laptops and pawning it and getting rid of it to go buy more drugs. And, dude, I hit a wall at like 21 years old. And I just said to myself, I woke up one day and I just said, this ain't it, man. This ain't it.
Yeah.
You know, being on this run it was a 2-year run. And in that span, I went to probably about 4 psych wards, probably about 7 or 8 detoxes, and 13 inpatient facilities.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's crazy, but
Yeah.
that makes you like appreciate your mom so much.
Oh, dude, yeah.
You know, because there's people whose parents would, once they're doing that shit, it's
Just
like,
let him go.
Yeah.
he's done.
Yeah.
You know, and you talk about your mom in such a great light, and she was always there for you. Like she always had your back.
Always.
I feel like it takes you to be at the position you're at now to look back and be like, damn, like my mom really had my back. You
Dude,
know?
not only did she have my back, my dad has been struggling for 30 years now.
Yeah.
You know, drug dealer, drug user, supported his mom. And he did that through selling drugs from when he was like 14. He's done multiple prison bids. And my mom and dad have been together for like 35, 40 years. And my mom had to live it with my dad. And now my dad was in prison. This whole time that I was struggling, my dad was in Northern State Prison. And now she had to do it all over again.
Yeah.
But this time with her son. So she got bad experience to all this stuff, bro.
Right.
Damn.
She got a bad deal of the cards, man.
Yeah.
So going through all of that, right, and bouncing back and catching your second win right now, how are you mentally and physically today, like at this point in your life and looking back?
Dude, you know, people always ask me, you know, you regret anything you went through? And I'm like, nah, man. I don't, because my story, you know, I realized over time, my story can now help someone who's 19, 18, whatever, 17-year-old kid who's living this type of life. And now he gets to see like, oh my God, like if I don't live that type of life, look what I can be, you know? Today I have like a dream job, you know what I mean? Like I go sit in a fucking office and watch sports and talk about it.
That's the life.
Like, dude, at that point, you know, I put out some videos, I make some content, like I'm doing what I love to do, you know what I mean? And it's all because I stopped and I stayed sober, you know?
Right.
That's amazing.
That's so tough. I can't imagine being like addicted to something for that long.
Yeah.
And then like kind of finding the strength to just be like, one day that's it. I'm not doing
So
this shit
how
anymore.
it kind of happened was it was July 2nd. It was July 2nd, 2015. My mom, so her routine every morning would be like she would go to Dunkin' Donuts and get a cup of coffee and then drive to work. So this time, I was always at a Dunkin' Donuts that I knew she didn't go to.
Yeah.
This day, somehow, some way, she was going to the same Dunkin' Donuts for like 15 years.
Yeah.
They were doing some renovations in the one she used to go to. So she went to a different one.
Right.
And I was sitting next to a dumpster, haven't showered, just looked terrible, bro. And she goes in, gets her coffee, and she comes out and she sees me next to the dumpster, and she just breaks down, bro. And she's like, come home. She's like, I want you to go far away. And the next day, July 3rd, I was on a plane to Scottsdale, Arizona.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Man, shout out to Mama Jersey Jerry.
Real
Real one, bro.
Real
Yeah,
one,
bro.
yes.
She's tough.
Lifesaver.
What advice, like your biggest advice that you would give to anybody battling addiction or, you know, going through something like that?
Yeah. I would say this, man, you know, don't give up, man. Don't give up and hold on, because, you know, the moment you give up, you just call it quits and you just say, fuck it. And, you know, not only did other people not give up on me, but, you know, there's a point during my stay in rehab where I didn't want to be there my last time around. I was like maybe 60 days in and I didn't want to be there. I wanted to go home. And, you know, I finally came to the realization, and I said to myself, you know what, this time around, I want to do it different. I'm going to take the suggestions and from other people who are talking to me and telling me, hey, you shouldn't go home. It's too early for you to go home.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have that much sobriety under your belt. You got 60 days sober. What are you going to do? Go back home and do what? You don't even have a job lined up. You have nothing. And, I took other people's advice, which really helped. And I didn't give up. And, my first job was bagging groceries at a Safeway. And that was the first job I ever had, bagging groceries. And I realized, it was probably one of the funnest times I've ever had. Besides this time.
Yeah, well, for sure.
Right.
For
But
sure.
dude, because it taught me like, I always looked down on other people, like early in life,
Yeah.
We all did.
And I said like, I would never be that guy bagging grocery at 40 years old. You know what I mean? And even though I wasn't 40 years old, I was bagging groceries, and it was really humbling, bro.
Yeah.
It really was. And I learned how to save money. I learned how to appreciate, the company I work for. My goal was not to make a bunch of money. My goal was to make my boss happy.
Yeah.
And, it just happened that way for me, man. My first job doing that. Then I got into like electrician work, and then just took off from there.
Yeah. I think like something that I'm big on is treating the mailman like you treat the CEO,
Yeah,
right?
dude.
So going through something like that
Oh, yeah.
is like once you now get to a point of success, you're like, damn, I'm never ever going to look at this person and say I'm too good for this, or look
Yeah.
at that person and say I'm too good for that. And like, that's why I love like all your content. I love how you act towards people because it's like you don't
Genuine
see,
vibes.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
see anyone for their status. You see them as
No.
humans first.
Dude, so getting back to my mom. So I was like a year or two sober, and I went home for Christmas, and we were going to get, I think we were going to get pizza one night. And my mom was the type of person who never gave people money on the street, never gave people food on the street. Never. She was never like that. I remember being a little kid, we would be at a light. She'd be lock the door, And for the first time I seen my mom like offer the guy, hey, why don't you come eat with us? Come have a slice of pizza with us. And the guy was so grateful. And, we had pizza, we talked and stuff like that. She was explaining my situation to him, and we dropped him off back. And I was like, hey, why'd you do that? You never did that before. And she says, because that guy was you, because he was you. And I was like, wow,
See a whole different perspective.
So she has a whole different perspective on the situation now,
So looking back, and on your journey into where you are now, what's something that you want to accomplish from here on out, or have you already accomplished one of your biggest goals?
Yeah, I accomplished some small goals that I had in mind. One of the goals was to start a family. And I have a little boy now.
Oh, congratulations, man. That's dope.
He's a year old, dude. He's awesome. It's great being a dad. That was a small goal of mine. My next goal, I need to get the fuck out of my mom's house.
It's not bad though. It's like,
No, dude, it's great. It's great. But, I got a little family now and stuff like that. It's just like the market is just crazy, bro. It's tough to fucking own, man.
it's insane right now.
Yeah, but another big goal I have actually is, and it might take some time to achieve, but I would love to open up my like own sober living or own treatment center. And I know that's years away, but I just think we need a lot more. We really do, because there's not enough help out there.
So looking back, right, I looked and researched you a lot, man. And you talked about how when you were in Scottsdale, Arizona, the guy who ran your section, the head guy, you said he really changed your life.
Yeah.
So, not to speak for you, but who inspires you? Because that seemed like a guy who really inspired you as well. But other than him, because we've heard you talk about him, but who inspires you?
Yeah. So basically, like I owe all this to my mom, my family. But at the same time, this guy, he made me realize the big picture, and I never understood the big picture. I always thought like I was just hurting myself. And I went into rehab, and there were stories on like, hey, you don't want to get this guy. Like, he's a mean guy. He's gonna scream at you from like other patients there. And I'm like, yeah, hopefully I don't get this guy. And I got introduced to him, and he came up to me. He's like, hey, where you from? What's your drug of choice? I went to shake his hand. He's like, I ain't shaking your fucking hand, bro. You're a junkie. And he had like 7 years sober at the time, and he's a mean guy. And I told him my drug of choice, crack cocaine, heroin, from New Jersey. And they said, perfect. You're in my room. It's called the Lion's Den. And I'm like, fuck, now I got this guy, right? But it happened to be the best thing that ever happened to me, because this guy made me see the big picture, and I didn't understand it. And what he did every day was, he broke you down to feel like nothing. Like you were just non-existent. You were a piece of shit. But he said, you're not just doing this to yourself. You're bringing other people down with you, your mother, your sister, your father. And I never understood that. I always thought it was like, oh, I'm just hurting my own life. I'm not taking them down with me. No, because, you know, there was so many sleepless nights they went through. You know, my mom had to spend money on lawyers for me when I would get arrested and whatnot. My mom had to get calls from other parents in the neighborhood like, hey, just so you know, your son's on the street. Like, that's embarrassing, bro.
Damn.
You know, and I didn't understand all what she was going through. And this guy exposed me to it. And I said to myself during my stay there, I never forget this moment. It's like one of the biggest moments in my recovery story. I asked him, I said, you know, Joe, when does it all stop? You know, when does it stop? And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, when does it stop? Like, I'm tired of using crack cocaine. I'm tired of using heroin. I'm tired of getting arrested. I'm tired of letting my family down. My mom, she's probably so embarrassed. And he said to me, he says, it'll never stop until you stop. And I stopped. And I never looked back. So, you know, getting back to Joe Ross, man, he saved my life. He saved my life. And the sad part about this disease is, you know, and we talked in the past, he's perfectly fine with me telling this story. We're super close. You know, he ended up relapsing a couple years back, you know, but he's back on his feet. He's doing his thing. You know what I mean? He's getting back into things, but, you know, it just shows that, like, you know, this thing is an everyday battle. It's not like, oh, you got 5 years sober, you'll be sober for the rest of your life. And like, no, it don't work like that, because a guy who went from sleeping under a bridge to one of the biggest drug counselors in Arizona, you know, for multiple years of sobriety, almost 7 to 8 years of sobriety, he went back out, you know? So it's an everyday battle.
Yeah, for sure. When you look at your life, right, how would you describe your life in one word?
One word?
And why?
One word to describe my life? Damn. There's a lot of words I would like to pick. But, you know, I would say successful. Not in terms of money. In terms of, you know, the impact I think I'm leaving other people with on a daily basis, you know. And I think that determines success, you know. I think that determines, you know, how people view you, how they look at you. Not like, oh, you know, if he's rich, because, you know, I'm not rich by no means, but, you know, I get messages all the time on Instagram from mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, people struggling to get sober. And it's like, you know, Jersey Jerry, like, thank you so much. You saved my son's life, you know, because I help people go into treatment. I help people go into sober livings. So I would say successful, man. And I got no problem saying that because, you know, from where I was to where I'm at now, it's like complete opposite, man.
That's amazing, bro.
That's beautiful.
And just, you know, to reiterate what you were talking about before about, you know, all your friends coming back into your life and, you know, family members, you know, you said at one point, you know, your mom was videotaping you in the house to make sure you weren't stealing things. Like coming back and bouncing back from that to where you are now. Like, how'd you get back to the place where everyone's like, you know, Jerry, you know, we love you. You're back to, you know, being yourself.
Yeah. So it takes time. That's the thing. You know what I mean? I've been to so many different places. It took a while for my mom and my sister to come around. Like, even when I had a year sober or 2 years sober, coming home for Christmas from Arizona, they always like watched me close. They never like, I couldn't say like, hey, you know, I'm going to hang out with this guy. Like, no, like, you know, why are you going there? You know what I mean? So they always kept a keen eye on me. And dude, I'll be honest with you, like, this still haunts my mom so much. Like, yes, she smiles, she's happy, she's great. But like, there's times where like she comes downstairs and she's like, hey, you feeling okay? Is everything okay? Like, and, you know, I try to say like, yeah, mom, like, I'm doing great. Like, dude, I'm 7 years sober. But I forget, like, you know, I put this woman through so much. She has every right to ask me if I'm okay. She has every right to ask me if I'm working till 11 o'clock at night watching football games at Barstool. Like, hey, where you at? How come you're not home yet? Are you still working? And like, in the moment, I'll get like a little upset. Like, dude, I'm working. Like, chill. But then I realize, like, nah, dude, you fucked up because this haunts her, you know? Right. So I got to look at it in that perspective as well.
100%.
Yeah, she has every right to do that, but she doesn't have a right to ask you to go to Walmart when the game's on.
Not Walmart. Fuck
that. Not while the game's on. I got a question. How did you get the jersey in front of Jerry?
Yeah, so, you know, I think it was a little bit of both. Me and the first guy I started to like do work with as far as like social media, funny videos and stuff like that. And I always wanted a nickname because everybody got a nickname. You know what I mean? Like the Dave Portnoy Prez, you know,
that's fine.
Dan Katz, Big Cat. And I was like, I always wanted like a nickname and I didn't really know what I wanted. And the one time we were talking on the phone. He's like, you know what's good, man? You're from Jersey. You should be, Jerry Jersey. And I'm like, I like that, Jerry Jersey. And I'm like, wait. I said, I think Jersey Jerry sounds a lot better. And he's like, yeah, that sounds good too. I'm like, fuck, I'm sticking with it,
And you just took it around.
Damn, I need a nickname now. Great one, Jersey Jerry.
Yeah.
I'm just Jarvis. Damn, shit.
Yeah, you just Jarvis right now, boy. I don't know. You gotta hit Cuz. Cuz is the nickname.
Cuz, I need a nickname, Cuz. Oh, man.
We gotta think.
So you do the weekly The Signs.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my favorite
Love it.
videos of the week every time you drop. But can I ask you, is there any signs leading up to the Super Bowl? Like, what can you tell me?
Man, I think this year is Josh Allen's year, man.
Oh, shit.
I think he's hungry, bro.
Yeah.
I think he's hungry. And I'll tell you this. If the Bills don't win it this year, because their team is built to win like right now. They got to win in the next like year or 2 years, bro. Because there's some guys on defense, they're getting older. You know what I mean? Who knows what's going to happen on the offensive side of the ball? They haven't really had a running back. And I know Josh Allen is carrying the team, but like, this guy's a mobile quarterback. Anything could happen. He runs the ball a lot. Mm-hmm. So I think he wins it this year. I really do.
Okay.
And I think if he doesn't win it this year, he ain't never winning one. Because this team right now, dude, they're tough to be stopped.
They're
bro.
loaded. They got
built to win this year, right?
This year, they got to win it this year.
So the signs from Jersey Jerry's Super Bowl prediction.
Bills.
The Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
Bills.
It was always the Bills.
Yeah, I don't think the Giants have enough this year. Some
You
Giants.
never know. But I mean, we want to thank you for coming on the show,
for
sure,
Jerry.
man.
We wouldn't have anyone else besides Jersey Jerry. It was always,
man.
It was always going to be
appreciate
Jersey
the time,
Jerry,
bro.
Oh,
I really
course.
do.
You're the man.
It's great.
You're the man.
I'm still amazed that you're a big Steelers fan being from out here, man. Everyone's a Giants and Jets fan.
My dad used to just dress me up in black and yellow, man, growing up. And he was a diehard Steelers fan. And, I just remember going to school one day and this kid had a Cowboys jersey on. I didn't have any jerseys. And he's like, hey, you should be a Cowboys fan. You're always, wearing black and yellow. That's like the Steelers. We don't really like each other. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be a fucking Steelers fan. Fuck it. And I just took off.
Oh, that's amazing. Jersey. Thank you, Jersey Jerry, for coming on the show, man. Your second win story is really, really inspiring, bro. And, we want people to come on here and, talk about their real life experiences. And we just want to say thank you from Second Win, me, Gio, the crew and staff for coming on here and getting us an amazing show,
Yeah,
man.
man.
For sure,
we love how authentic you are, how genuine you are. And we love how your story can help change so many lives. That's our goal here. And I think, you epitomize your second win. I can't wait to see where you go from here.
Yeah,
Nothing but to the top,
much.
man. To the top,
man.
And I gotta go to Connecticut, get some pizza, bro.
Yeah,
So
bro.
Always Jersey Jerry.
thank you guys for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment. We'll be tuned in, man. More fire guests on the way. Appreciate it.